here we go. Um, November 9th, 2022. Lots of comic books picked up. I had so many comic books, I just didn't want to overspend, and I look back at them again, and I'm like, you know what? I need to get these issues that you're about to see. I wasn't able to get every single issue on the video, so you only go about to see three quarters to a half of the amount of comic books I got. Those lunch boxes were homages to the Jim Lee X-Men and Ninja Turtles. I love them. I have no need for them, so I just wanted to videotape them just to remember them. But other than that, a lot of great issues again. Some homages, some new characters. There was a little bit of everything, and I gotta tell you, I went over my budget twice. So I hope you enjoyed this video to see what I grabbed. Thank you very much. This is a spoiler alert. Plot lines will be discussed, and first appearances and deaths will be brought up on this episode. Thank you. And hello, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to this episode of November 9th, the release. Sorry I got this out late. I did had a video earlier, and unfortunately the app that I was using froze, so I kept talking and it stayed on the same frame, so it's kind of embarrassing, but these are the lessons learned when you're a fellow YouTuber. Basically, this week was really like a lot of great titles, a lot of great things to go over. These were my picks. There were approximately about 12, I believe, at the point. I went 2 times over my $30 budget, which, you know, got me to my $10 off spending $100 at Midtown Comics. So that being said, it was an amazing week. I'm probably gonna repeat this before the clip of this clip, which was when I was grabbing the issues, and I was just blown by the different types of stories, the care taken into literally the characters. And so this week has been an amazing week. Once again, November 9th, 2022. Let's go to the first one, Judgment Day. Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals. The synopsis is: the fallout of Judgment Day is felt. After the events are the promises. Nothing will ever be the same again for the Eternals. It is a lie. It is always the same and it always will be. However, in the wake of Judgment Day, they discover what is truly eternal. Now, I'm going to be honest about this. Like any other Marvel release, it is ridiculously like packed with so much things going on with it. There are approximately 5 variant covers to this issue. I took the Lozano variant. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. But it is Lozano, Lozano. And honestly, it's a beautiful variant. I mean, look at this Captain America. And the configuration. And I think these are oversized background characters of Wolverine. And I think that is Thena. This was an awesome art piece. The story is great. It is continuation of Judgment Day. A lot of fun. Is it worth it? Story-wise, yes. I don't think it will gain value as a collectible, but for a story, it is worth it. Moving on to Amazing Spider-Man number 13. I got a variant. Let me get some time to get on my list here. And so this is a very special issue, and I must say that when it leads to the appearance of the Gold Goblin, you know it's gonna have some value to it. They might make a movie out of it. This issue reminds me of something I've seen in the 80s, which is the death of Kraven the Hunter, who is Spider-Man, one of Spider-Man's early foes. So this is a homage cover, and it is a regular homage cover. There are 5 variants with this release, and this cover so fast because it is a homage to a iconic cover with Spider-Man in a black outfit. This is Spider-Man in a regular new outfit, and here's the synopsis. Hobgoblin's story comes to a chilling end, and no one is going to be rocked harder than Norman Osborn. Witness the birth of the Gold Goblin, and what does this mean for a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? This is a very special issue. This is going to be a valuable issue. It is definitely a collector's item. It is definitely a first appearance, and I highly recommend it. The cover I recommend was really this cover. The original cover, excuse the shaking, they got an overkill cover and a nice, cool comic book cover. I went with the I can't say his last name, Mandaric Beyond variant. Surprisingly, this Beyond variant actually looks really good and is well composed. Story is great. Story is a Spider-Man story. I totally recommend it. I mean, even though it's a first release, the story on this is amazing. Let's keep going. Okay, now we are going to Batman Incorporated issue number 2. There are 2 first appearances here, actually. The first appearance of Phantom 1 and the death of Q Sky Spider, but there's also a first appearance of Fisher, who is this character. So I got the John Timms design card stock variant, cover E. There are a lot of variants for this issue. Actually, my mistake. There's only 4. And one of them is actually a foil cover, which is cool looking, by Chris Berman. There's an awesome cover B stock, which I wasn't interested because this was available and at regular price, so it made my budget. The actual main cover is pretty cool. I totally dig it. Let's just go into what the synopsis is. The pulse-pounding second chapter to No More Teachers continues as Batman Incorporated continues to investigate the death of Ghostmaker and Batman's mentors. Each new lead only begs the one question and threatens to unearth a shocking secret buried deep in Ghostmaker's past, a secret that refuses to die. And the story on this is really good. DC's really hitting it out of the park, actually. DC really is hitting it out of the park. The story on this, I wasn't big on their future state, and I'm getting a hit rate call of the reason why I'm not buying it was because it was $6 an issue and way off my budget. One comic book, lots of new things happening. And the outcome is these issues. These issues and the stories are just immense with the greatness of these characters and the story of them and the relationship. And I cannot explain how I regret not getting those issues. Now I'm looking for them, and why these characters are so much more developed than they were during Future State. And I mean, I did read Future State. It was just an opening of a new territory for DC. A lot of changes were happening with the company. They fired so many people, or people were just leaving the company of DC Comics. And I mean, the outcome of the stories for the last 3 weeks, last month, have been amazing. I would never thought I would buy DC comic books again because of this. But now look at this. I'm DC all over the place here. You're going to see more DC issues. You're going to be surprised how many I'm going to have. And I can't believe that I'm actually collecting them, because DC Comics is a very, we know that they're godlike characters, but also they do have human characters like Batman. But these characters are developed in certain ways that are different than that of Marvel. And that's the love of both Marvel and DC. And the way these characters come to placement in the universe is very interesting, and this is definitely a collector's item, especially the cover that I got here of Fisher This looks like a design stock card variant. So definitely a piece to get. Now let's move on to Black Panther Unconquered, excuse me, issue number 1. This cover is really I thought it was the last cover, and I was wrong. My first video that I posted, I said they ran out, there's no more. I came back a week later, not a week later, 3 days later, to my local comic book shop, and lo and behold, there were 2 more copies there. Let's go to the synopsis. The scribe behind 2019's acclaimed Killmonger series, limited series, Hill returns to Wakanda to explore the land's rich mythology, once again with a thought-provoking story that will see the emergence of a threat deeply rooted in Wakanda's history. In order to combat it, Black Panther will have to learn new secrets about Wakanda's ancient past and unlock a new connection to the Panther god Bast. Now, this cover, which is the Stegman variant, is amazing. It is, I mean, in Bronx terms, dope. I gotta say, the story is like an Indiana Jones story. It is like there's some sort of vault, and it holds a weapon, and they're fighting over it, and it's a great and fun story. It felt like a one-shot, but it wasn't. Hopefully there'll be a second issue. I would like to see what that issue would be like. But other than that, is it a collector's item? The answer is, it's a collector's item. This is the first appearance of Etron, who I'm not familiar with. He is one of the characters that appears here to take the weapon that he has found and use it against the Wakandans. So it was a very, very interesting issue. And yes, it does have a first appearance. Yes, it will have value to it if the character is used in a movie. But other than that, if that character develops more in future issues, and people will start to like that character. I just think he's amazing. He's like a James Bond / Indiana Jones villain. But he's just a typical guy in a very special suit, and reminds me of Kang, but this guy's just, he's just like a Tomb Raider, and he's taking weapons that don't belong to him. So definitely a one to get. Definitely, if you could get this issue, it is a beautiful cover. It looks really cool. The original Black Panther main cover is, it's just T'Challa like jumping out of the cliffs, jumping off the cliffs. But it's not as great as this, which I think it's more iconic. So, moving on to the next one, we are going to Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 6. This is a homage cover, by the way. If you're not familiar with some of Michael Turner's work in the past, he had Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman in this configuration. But what I like about this is that they're both looking at each other while she's up there with the large sword, and these individuals behind them. It looks like Spectre, Green Lantern, and Black Adam, Hawkman, and Cheetah on the side. So this issue was once again almost like Marvel's Judgment Day. This issue was all over the place. It was a lot of fun. It was a continuation of the story, and nothing ran special of it. But this variant, stock card cover, which is done by Ariel Colon, his homage stock variant, which I liked. I think this is a beautiful piece. Also, just so you know, there's 6 variant covers on this. Throughout all this, there's doesn't say if any first appearance are here. There's a lot of characters. I would say there's somewhere around the range of about 30, close to 30 plus characters in this issue, with an additional I can't even count the amount of cameos. I would say somewhere around 40 to 50 cameos. It could be more, but yeah, it could be actually 60 cameos in there. It's ridiculous. There's just so much going on in this issue, and the story is global, universal. It's just crazy, and honestly, the story holds up. It holds up for the continuation of Infinite Crisis, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth. Excuse me. It was a fun issue. I enjoyed it. And is it a collectible? Yes. For the story, Absolutely. Is it going to be worth money? I don't think so. It might be that issue where another issue is like worth $20 and this one will be $3-4 just because it was old. But the story holds. It is good. It is in my collection for a reason, and that is because the story was continuing the ongoing series and it made sense to have it. And you got to know that when you feel that way, it just hits you in the heart, and I love the homage that made it a plus. So that being said, collectible as personal, yes. Worth value, not much. People say that the homage cover will be more valuable than the story itself, I would think, and the answer is no, it wouldn't be, because the story is everything. The story makes it. But if it's a story of a first appearance, well, then now it's going to go skyrocketing in money. But issues like this where people we already know, it's not their first appearance, and they're all clashing or talking or basically interacting in the storyline, it's more likely going to be a typical comic book price that, in order for it to gain its notoriety and its value, it's going to take 30 to 40 years of appreciation later on in life until the paper turns brown. So that being said, we are moving on to Marauders, issue number 8. Look at that cover. Oh, man. Look how beautiful these characters are drawn. I love this. This reminds me of the 90s when Image came out and Jim Lee was joining XMen, and Batman and all of them were a little bit behind the old stuff. But other than that, this was a fun issue. There's a cameo appearance by Krakoa, but other than that, there are two variants here. Main cover looks like it was done by Peach Momoko, I think, and the answer is, I guess Peach did the main character. I'm looking right now. Yes, Peach did the cover. Obviously, I should look up the art first, but unfortunately, I didn't. I just went straight to the info box. Let's go directly to the synopsis of this. The Marauders go where no Krakoan has gone before, back at last to the first mutant society ever. Kate Pride might be allergic to the word no, but her crew can really save the past without destroying the present. And as the Marauders plan to rescue yesterday, the Threshold, 3 run free today, but can Krakoa survive the experience? So this issue was like, first off, I'm going to say that this cover attracted me because of how she's drawn and the characters around her. The story, on the other hand, is actually pretty good. I think there was a surprise at the end, but I could be wrong. I love the designs on each of these characters. I gotta steer away from this cover. It's so attractive. Just look at it. Other than that, the story's great. It's nothing to yak about. It, once again, a continuation, of the storyline here, and no first appearance. I don't think so. I see one, but it's possible there's a first appearance that no one notices. The story of this is literally pretty good, and I enjoyed it a lot, and that's why it's got the pass. Enjoyed it. Beautiful cover, and that is it. This is the extreme variant, believe it or not. I'm usually not big on extreme variants, but yeah. Other than that, I bought this for the story. The story was fun. It continued on, and there were some major events of the storyline with each of the characters, and therefore I felt like it could not be passed. So, with that being said, it made the list. It won't be my comic book of the week. I don't even know if I'm going to tell you if I'm going to have a comic book of the week. It's quite hard to tell, but maybe I could just be really quick and simple about it. And next one, we are going to the New Golden Age, #1. This issue was amazing. I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, look at all these characters on this cover. It's a beautiful cover. The synopsis goes, from the Justice Society, of America to the Legion of Superheroes, the new Golden Age will unlock DC's epic secret-ridden history of heroism, launching a new group of titles set firmly in the DC universe. From the 1940s to the 3040s, heroes take on the great evils of their time, but in the aftermath of Flashpoint Beyond, those heroes and villains will make their lives turned upside down. DC's future and its past will never be the same again. But how are Meme and marionettes connected to this? Why are Rip Hunter and the Time Masters most unlikable heroes in the DC universe? And who or what is nostalgia? Don't miss the start of the strangest mystery ever plagued on the DC universe. So, this issue has a lot going for it. It is a good story, as I told you earlier. But it has 4 key first appearances. Salem Nader, Molly Preacher as Molly Pitcher, Elizabeth Rose as Betsy Ross. Funny, Betsy Ross as in DC. It's a DC book, and there's a Betsy Ross in the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, in Marvel. And John Henry Irons as I Am John Henry Jr. So this has potential value to it. And I like this cover a lot. It looks like a team-up cover. There's approximately 7 variant covers. And other than that, the actual main cover is pretty cool. I dig it once again. And DC hits it out of the ballpark. With these cool stories, character interactions, team-ups. You can't go wrong. I mean, I like the story a lot, and every time I look at this character, it kind of hits the heart, because this character is based on the writer and the creator's sister who passed away on Flight 800. I was actually not far from the crash site where it happened, because I was out with my father fishing and surfing on the beaches, where we actually saw a part of the plane float on shore. So every time I see this, kind of he did the job, because of the meaning of this character, where she was developed from, hits the heart. I had to say that personally. I knew it. I knew who the writer was. I know where the crash site was. It wasn't far from home. So to see her, kind of like, I can remember all that. But anyway, definitely must get. Definitely. Let's go on to the next one. Oh, obviously, you gotta look at this. I don't know if I actually have this, and I'd be a fool, which I am, not to have it in CGC. I remember seeing this as a kid back then, and I probably have it, just don't know about it, where I put it in my collection. Honestly, I just think it was always fun. I love Rob Liefeld during this time when he was doing the New Mutants. A long story with Rob is that I came to him when no one was going to him, and I said, I love your work in New Mutants. I never talked about Youngblood. I still like Youngblood. I mean, when you're a kid, you love these things. New Mutants was just, he wasn't running the show, he was just being the artist for the show, and he was learning about it. And the characters that were developed at this time with him and Fabio Nicci, literally just kind of build up a relationship together. And other than that, the foundation was built for these characters, and he carried on. But the foundation that was already built for these characters is just, it was just amazing. The New Mutants run has been such a heck of a thing, and it's been different. It's been its own. It's created new characters. It's had very interesting conflicts. It also runs across the sagas of the past, late 80s, early 90s movement in the storylines. And I mean, I gotta say, New Mutants has always been my favorite line. I mean, there was Legion, there was, I believe, I was going to say Apocalypse, but that's X-Factor. I mean, you got Cable and all the X-Force members here before X-Force came out. I grabbed, by the way, this Facsimile edition, because I don't even know if I have this. I would never pay $4 for a reprint. Never. I will pay $1.50, but never a reprint, because a reprint just isn't worth as the first print. And then these days, you're starting to find that reprints are now gaining popularity and notoriety for their content of the story or the development of the character's first appearance. So, other than that, um, I got it for myself. I think it's worth it anyway. It still has value. It's the first appearance of Deadpool, okay? And there are many releases of Deadpool in the past. And other than that, there are about 7 variants, including a Rob Liefeld variant, and a blank variant, and a newspaper stand variant. I think I got the newspaper stand variant, but let me see what. Yeah, I got the Facsimile variant. So other than that, I always loved this. I mean, I like the opening page on this. I wish I opened it up to show you, but Liefeld really got lucky with this line. He really took a comic book that was beloved and made it his own. But the artwork of Liefeld and New Mutants to me meant a lot more to me than all his future issues after New Mutants. I think New Mutants was his greatest achievement. Other than that, everything else, like Youngblood one, another achievement, but not appreciated. I just could talk to you all day about this issue, and I mean, Deadpool's legs is longer than his whole body, so I just like the look of it. It looks dope, and I think Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane were almost the same with regards to their principle of artwork. So, in the portions of the body. Not Jim Lee. He's to perfection, always on the money, and that's why I like Jim Lee. That's why he's still my #1 favorite artist. There are others that I like, but Jim Lee will always be in that list. Radiant Black is a great issue. I had a lot of fun with this. It's like an object came out of nowhere and people are trying to figure it out, and it transformed at the very end of this issue. This is a great story, and there's a possible first appearance on this. I must say, I mean, this is something of a discovery of a new thing happening and a new storyline. And let's just read the synopsis. The synopsis goes, a brand new alien object has landed in Chicago, but what is it? Why isn't it doing anything? And in the wake of shocking ending of the fight with an epic front, who is even Radiant Black these days? Now, I'm going to tell you, this is a collector's edition. We don't know who the object is or what it does or what future it holds for future issues. And honestly, it is an excellent story, excellent possible character reveal. We don't know what's going to be the positive side of this character, negative side, or if it's going to even come back or be recycled for a new storyline. That is why this is a collector's issue, I believe. I highly believe because it has potential. And that's why I do recommend it. This is the Juan Ramirez variant. I think there's only about 2 variant covers. And that being said, definite must get. That is why it is on the list. Now, moving on to the next issue, we are going to the Sabertooth and the Exiles. Now, I'm going to say, I got this Cassandra variant, and it was amazing. Sabertooth takes his identity to his own clawed hands. This is a synopsis, by the way. The powers that may be condemned. Sabertooth to pilot the breaking of the rules of Krakoa, but now he's free and ready to show the world you can't keep Victor Creed down. Even as the exiles from Krakoa speed along in a hot pursuit, in a new chapter and a fan-favorite saga begins a brutal fashion when Dr. Barrington gets her hooks in Creed, and he'll be lucky to survive the issue. Victor, Lavallee, and Leonard Kirk, return for this unforgettable installment in the chronicles of one of the Marveldom's most vicious mutants, meaning Marvel's vicious mutants anyway. But this was fun. I can't tell you. This cover's dope. This story was amazing, and I liked how it ended. And it's like something that they were torturing him, they were telling him horrible things, and at the end, there was a group of individuals outside that was just trying to figure out what to do, and he just escapes and says, hey, you guys need a ride? Oh my god. I just gave you the synopsis of this whole thing. I mean, the story was a lot of fun. It was, and they were torturing him, but it's Victor Crease. He regenerates. Definitely great story. Definitely good collection to have, especially number one. You don't know where the storyline's gonna go, and I didn't notice any new characters. There's possibly some new characters in this because there was a lot going on, like one of the big fights, and we don't know if any of these individuals are new to the scene of the universe. But other than that, I highly recommend getting this. Read it. It is fun. It is ridiculously hilarious, and the ending makes sense. So I can't wait for the second issue to come out. Now, Star Wars High Republic issue number 2. We got some team ups of the Open Hand and his Twinkle Sisters. These are all first team ups, first appearance team ups, and I have the Scott variant. I'm sorry if I destroyed that name. It's STOTT variant. I just felt that this was that this really changed a lot, and it had potential. It still does, not because of the first appearance, but the storyline itself. I just think it's worth taking it. There's no wrong with it, with taking it. I mean, you can take so many issues and waste your money and sell them back for $1 issue. This is not one of them. There's a lot going on here that are special events that would not be ignored and would be referenced in future issues. So if you ask me, I think it's worth it. If you're not a Star Wars fan, that's your cue. That's your call. Okay, Son of Kal-El, issue number 17. Superman and Son are reunited. So why doesn't it feel good? Why could it be because the LexCorp automations threaten the safety of Metropolis? Got a bad feeling about this. I took the Stephen Butler 90s cover month stock card variant because I grew up with this this Superman here. They were $1.75, 50. And this is an awesome picture of Superboy as a kid, skateboarding in this awesome looking skateboard that could be the use of a snowboard decal. The story on this was a lot of fun. I believe that there are no first appearance in this, but the story was carried on and amazing and cool. And I just think that, once again, here we go. DC hits it out of the story ballpark again, to a point that it hits my heart, and it just, has a worthiness of buying because of the story. And that's what I like about collecting comic books, is that this is a story I want to have, I want in my collection, and I took it, and I bought it. And characters on this were amazing. The writer was Tom Taylor. I know I haven't given you the names of the other writers on it, but I have to tell you, the reason why I do these is basically to, just go over the notoriety of why the issue was special, why it made the list, and does it have value. And most of these issues I'm proud of, and I say I can't sell them because they have such personal aspects in the current readings of this month of 2022. So with that being said, you haven't seen it on the table, this Wildcats issue number 1, and holy crap, this is the Jim Lee variant. And I'm gonna tell you this, I grew up on Wildcats in the 90s when they first came out in Image, and to see them interact with DC individuals, I just think anything's possible these days. This is a beautiful cover by Jim Lee. Look at that detail. And Jim Lee still got it. I mean, I always will love Jim Lee's work. But other than that, I just think the story of this is the start of a new relationship. And to see these characters in this world of DC comic book characters, I mean, once again, blown away again with the story. Spinning off, here's the synopsis. Spinning off from the pages of Batman comes a sense of shattered new series. The Halo Corporation gathered some motley crew of operatives led by cold grifter Cash, who are going to make the world a better place no matter who they have to kill, working in the shadows of the DC universe. This new convert team has been tasked with gathering an elite group of scientists for the first phase of their plan. But the cats mysteriously avoid may have other plans. This story is good. There's just nothing I could say bad about it. And to see the Wildcats in the DC universe has changed everything for me and made everything possible that any character could be transferred into any different type of publisher release. I mean, look what happened with Angela at Todd McFarlane's issue of Spawn, which now she's in different, like she's in Marvel right now. And I just like things like that because, yes, there's money involved, there's copyright involved, but we know this character. I'm looking at Angela at Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, my God, what is this woman doing here? I'm like, you know what? That's kind of dope. Why not? But other than that, this is one heck of a set of comic books that I would never expect to spend this amount of money on these comic books. And they were all worth it because story and first appearance keys are in this batch, and it was a lot of fun that week. I think I spent an hour and a half in the store and almost missed lunch with my family. So thank you very much for joining. Please subscribe and like. Hopefully I get more better in this and I'll get more, more viewers. And I hope that this was helpful for you as well, because this is how I did spend the time that I take loving these books, making a piece of my personal library. And after that, I really open them because always every Wednesdays there's new books coming out and new stories to happen. And it's like being in a candy shop or a Blockbuster, if you ask me. You look at the covers and determine if the story is going to be even better. And that's the love of it all. Thank you very much. This episode was made possible by the apps and music listed below. Subscribe and like, and thank you for watching.